Welcome to episode 40 of the Family Geekery podcast. I'm Amber.
I'm Sundar.
And I'm Chris.
And today we're going to be talking about Marvel Snap.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
So what is Marvel Snap?
It's an app.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap.
And it rhymes.
Yeah.
So what kind of game is it? Who wants to describe it?
It's a card game.
Deck
game. Yeah. 1v1 deck game.
Which is exactly the type of game that I usually avoid.
Yeah.
But you add a bunch of pretty Marvel pictures to it, and I
it's Marvel themed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel Snap.
I mean, it's the exact kind of game I try to play. Right up my alley. Oh, man.
So Danny isn't with us this week. She didn't.
A loser and didn't play Marvel Snap at all.
Yeah, probably too busy with something important in life. Didn't get enough playtime in, so she didn't feel confident enough to add to this. But we've got friend of the podcast, Sundar, to add his expertise to this type of game, which a couple of episodes ago we had the regular deck builders like Magic the Gathering and that kind of stuff. So this game kind of falls right in line with that, except it's you and some anonymous idiot from across the interwebs playing against each other instead of being in a room with a bunch of Mountain Dew. I'm
convinced it's just bots. I don't think I'm playing against real people. Some of them act like bots.
I'm not sure how that works. It feels like bots sometimes, and that was when we first heard about this game, that was the first thing I heard was that it was bots and the bots could see what you're playing. So I don't think that would be, I don't think that they would do that on purpose. That wouldn't seem right, because you don't need, if you played against a robot, right? The robot wouldn't have to see what you were playing each turn. The robot can figure out by all the possible cards and all the possible combinations, it could figure out what its best strategy would be with no help, right? Computers can do that these days. Now, maybe there's a dial on, how aggressive or how smart the bot is, but I don't think that they would just flat out know what cards you were playing before they were revealed. So I'm gonna try to debunk that. But even so, there's sometimes you see an opponent that does something so stupid that you think, now, they can't be someone that stupid. But I guess there can be, really. So we got a card game with Marvel stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it seems to be pretty popular so far. They got a lot of accolades since it's launched. And it's got a very, I wouldn't say unique, because it's not unique. It's kind of the way that we go now. And I'm talking about the monetization scheme. It's purely cosmetic, right?
Yeah.
Purely, which, if you told me 10 years ago that a game was going to come out and the only way it was going to make any money was by selling purely cosmetic items, I'd say, well, that's ridiculous. Nobody would make a game like that. But then you got games like Fortnite and League of Legends and,
and Overwatch.
They're not pay to win. They're pay to look pretty less janky. Yeah. So I haven't, so let's take a poll here. Has anybody spent any real life money on Marvel Snap?
No, but this new Jubilee Festival fireworks pack looks really cool.
I knew that was going to be your answer. No, not yet. But I just saw Jubilee today. I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, that
stuff is really pretty.
And if Dazzler comes out on Tuesday and she's got, some cool stuff. Now, okay, so no real life money yet. What about gold? Have you spent any of your gold yet?
No, I haven't amassed enough gold to really buy anything yet.
So gold, for anybody listening that hasn't played it yet, gold is kind of your premium currency that you use to buy variants of your cards, I guess. There's also credits, which you amass as you're playing that are used to upgrade the looks of your cards, but not change the looks of your cards. So
Yeah.
you've got several upgrades for each card, where it changes the character, the border, the title. I don't know if you guys have gotten past the shiny title yet.
Shiny title. I just
No.
unlocked what animated on a couple of mine.
Okay. So after animated is shiny title, and
Oh,
after shiny title is animated border.
whoa.
Whoa.
And there's one more after that I haven't gotten to yet.
Dang.
So that's done with credits. But I've got 2,400 gold, and I haven't spent
Gee.
any yet. And I'm thinking I want to pick one of the variant genres and maybe just buy those, like maybe pixelated. They've got the pixelated ones. They've got the they've got a bunch of different variants, but
That'd
the
be neat.
pixelated
You could
ones look
have
pretty
your
cool.
entire deck all on theme.
Yeah.
Have an entire pixelated.
I don't know if anybody would appreciate that though.
You would, and that's what matters.
That's true. I don't even notice what the card looks like when it gets played. I'm usually like, oh, geez, why did they just play that card on me? That screwed up everything. I'm not looking at like, oh, that's cool. Look, hey, it's a chibi version of Storm. That's so cute. I'm like, oh, darn it. They just flooded the war zone. All right, so no gold spent yet. No real life money spent yet. Marvel Snap is making all kinds of bank off of us.
And there's not really ads I've seen either, so
Yeah.
I don't think there is going to be ads.
yeah.
Nope. But I'm guessing it's working for them.
I guess so.
So
And they
that's
do
good.
have the premium battle pass because they've got the battle pass system.
That's true.
And the tutorial battle pass or whatever doesn't have any premium, but the monthly battle pass does. So
Yes. So $10 a month, and still that gets you cosmetic items. Now it gets you a lot of stuff, but it's a lot of cosmetic stuff. And
Right.
titles. The titles are cool. Have you gotten a title yet?
Well, I got the Lunar New Year gift title. It just says Happy New Year or whatever.
You didn't get the loincloth one yet?
No.
I've got one that says, why, yes, that is a loincloth I'm wearing. I guess it's for the Khazar.
Yeah,
it's
that
for
was
the
for Khazar deck.
the current Savage Land event that's going on right now. All right. So who wants to flex at their collection level so far?
I
And
think
that's the number that's right underneath you.
collection level amongst all three of us. I just got to
Oh, in
34.
ascending order. Okay. Mine's 51.
51. I thought you were playing more than that.
No.
Oh, okay. Then I feel bad. 'Cause I'm the only one flexing.
So you're flexing. You asked who wants to flex, and you're
Who
the one
wants to
flexing.
flex? Who wants to? Who wants
Wait,
to?
so what's the number?
I feel bad now. All right, it's 301.
I was gonna guess.
Okay.
What is it? 200? Oh my god.
So about a month ago, I was listening to another podcast, and it's the Get Played podcast, which is another gaming podcast, and they were talking about Marvel Snap, and all three compared their numbers, and the one guy had some crazy number, and it was probably like 400 or something like that, and I thought, that is absolutely ridiculous. Like, how? And I haven't really been tracking it. I just know that, and the thing that's driving mine up is my credits have maxed. I don't know if you've reached the point where your credits have maxed yet.
No.
So they max at 10,000. So I couldn't collect any more credits. So I just had to start blanket spending them. And I was spending them upgrading all my cards. And I couldn't upgrade the cards fast enough from what I was collecting.
Wow.
So I started doing in the store, there is a way to, what do they call it? They call it the fast upgrade. And the fast upgrade, I guess, you use your credits to not only upgrade it, but buy the last remaining. Like if you've got a character that's halfway through their They're little ball things.
Uh-huh.
It buys the rest of them with credits and then upgrades
Oh,
it. So I've been having to buy those to keep my credits under 10,000 so I can keep on collecting because I couldn't collect the daily quests.
you're just full of flexes, aren't you?
I am. It's it's like a struggle to have to spend all these credits so fast. So who wants to describe how the game actually works?
I can.
All right. Go for
So, as a deck game, you have, I think, a 12 card deck. Let me-
12, yes.
And at the start of the game, you draw, I think, 3 cards, and then plus any sort of additional effect. Like Quicksilver has an effect where he starts in your hand. So he's currently in my deck, so I start with 4 cards in my hand, and then there's 3 zones that you can play the cards in. And at the start of the game, you have like 1 energy. I'm not sure what terminology they use to describe it, but that's the resource that you use to play the cards. So on turn 1, you have 1 energy, and turn 2, you get 2 energy, and so forth. And so, like, each card has an associated casting cost. And when you have enough energy on that turn, you can choose to play the card in one of the 3 zones. And on turn 1, the effects of only the leftmost zone are revealed, and then on each subsequent turn, the effects of zones 2 and 3 are revealed. And these effects are totally random, like based on what's available. I think there's rotating effects, but you choose a zone, you play the card, and each card has a power. And the power, whoever has the highest power in that zone at the end of the game wins that zone. And if you win 2 out of 3 zones, you win the game. And so as the game goes on, there are a lot of effects that have predictive qualities, like Rocket Raccoon says when you play him, if your opponent played a card in that same zone, then he gets +2 power. Or it might be 3 power. I'm not sure. But
Kind of nutty.
yeah, so there are many cards like that. Like Groot is also like that. And then there's also cards that play off of how many cards your opponent has played in that zone. Like the Punisher gets +1 power for each card the enemy's played in that zone. And so there are a lot of different dynamics with choosing which zone to play the card in. And there's also follow-up effects, like Hawkeye says when you play the card, the next card you play in that zone will boost Hawkeye's power. If you play in the subsequent turn. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
brief.
There's a cost to play, the energy, there's the power, and then there's the may or may not be abilities. And the different abilities may be on reveal, which means right when you play it, or maybe ongoing, which means it happens all the time. And some of them can get pretty wacky.
Yes.
Have you figured out the tiebreaker? Like if you win a zone, he wins a zone, and then the
zone is
third
tied.
zone is tied.
I think you just both win, right?
That's what I thought.
Because that's what happened to me a couple times.
Whoever has the highest point total wins.
Oh.
So even if you think you're going to tie on one of the zones, play your highest cards elsewhere so that you can eventually win.
Okay.
Because sometimes there's a zone that says, any play out. Have you played the Rickety Bridge zone?
I don't think so.
That's pretty cool. I've only had it once. But the Rickety Bridge is if there's more than one character in that zone, they both die.
Oh.
So there can be one on your side or one on your opponent's side, but there can't be. And I thought it meant if you had more than one on your side, but it's more than one total.
Oh, that's funny.
So
Wow.
yeah, so anytime you play something, the other one plays, and you get a 0. And then if you have someone like Mr. Fantastic that can affect the zones around him, then that's going to help win a zone like that.
Wow.
Now, the powers, the abilities that the cards have, I think are pretty well themed to the characters themselves in the Marvel lore.
Yeah, and the animations too are pretty cool. Like when Mr. Fantastic, comes into play and gives the other zones um +2 power, he like, reaches his arms over to the other ones to like punch them, which is kind
Yeah,
of
that's cool. And Medusa whipping her hair around, or Ant-Man growing and shrinking.
Mhm.
Yeah, all the effects are pretty cool. Let's see.
Well, there's another component to the game that is where the name comes from.
Oh,
and
do you know about that?
yeah. You can snap, which means that you basically are when you're confident, you can press the snap button, which is at the top.
You can click it yourself.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
which I never do because I'm never confident. Um, but when that happens, and you win, you get double the cubes. Whatever the cubes are what level up your rank. And if you lose after snapping, then you lose double. So, um, but if you like, you can retreat, and if you retreat after your opponent snaps, then you only lose half instead of like whatever. I don't know. So,
So it's a way of wagering on
yeah.
betting on your own
Yeah.
game that you're playing.
And I didn't know that two people could snap. So I've always been like really happy when my opponent snaps and then I beat them. Um,
And I think you get a benefit for snapping earlier on. Like it, I don't know, because I remember recently I played a game where I snapped on the last round and it didn't really benefit me that much.
Yeah, I think the last round it doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
I think you have to
Easy
be you have to be at the point that they can still make a
react.
decision before
Yeah.
they start playing cards. But yeah, there's a lot of different metrics in the game that make it a little bit confusing at first. Like you've got the credits, you've got the gold, you've got energy, you got power, you've got the cubes, you've got a season pass, of course, because every game nowadays has a season pass. So you're gaining stuff towards that season pass. So there's a lot of numbers going on that make it a little overwhelming at times. But once you figure it all out, it's not too horrible.
Yeah.
So what kind of decks are you digging? Like, what kind of combination of players have you found to be effective so far?
So right now I have a deck built around Khazar, and one cost uh, characters. Khazar says that every one cost character gets +1 power. So if I'm able to play multiple cards a turn that are one cost, be it with more energy, that seems to be working out pretty well. And Ant-Man is a really great card. He gets +3 power if he's surrounded by other characters in that zone. Um,
Do you have Squirrel Girl in that deck?
I don't. I've
I
been playing
just unlocked
against
Squirrel
Squirrel Girl, and I'm like, oh man, I need that card.
Girl.
I've seen a Squirrel Girl Kazar person play against me, and I was like, oh, I see what you're doing there.
Dazzler's going to be good with stuff like that because she has, when she comes out in 2 days, and when I'm probably not even going to get her, but I'm pretty sure she says that when you have all zones full, because you can only have 4 cards
Oh
in
yeah,
each
you have to
zone.
have 3 zones of 4.
Yeah. So it's kind of limiting, but I guess you only have like 12 cards in your deck, so it's and only 6 turns. So it's
I've never had that though. I read that yesterday,
yeah, when
and
she,
I've never had 3 full zones.
yeah, but when you do have 3 full zones, she gets I think it's only like +4 power, like which doesn't even seem that good, but
But it's all about fours. She's a 4 cost, she's a
yeah,
4 power, and then she gets +4 if you
if
have
you
all
have four
fours.
cards in each zone. So that's kind of cool, but I feel like that will go well with like Squirrel Girl, because Squirrel Girl puts squirrels in other zones, which is kind of cool. So
But speaking of forecasts, I really like Jessica Jones. It's kind of like a vanilla effect. Like she gets +4 power if you don't play a card in that zone in the next turn. But having an 8 power forecast is
yeah.
valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had her in just about every deck so far.
Oh.
That, or I was playing Namor a lot,
Namor seems pretty
Oh,
good.
and he's a 4, and he gets what +4 if he's all alone,
I
Plus
think it's
5 if he's
5.
only alone.
It
Yeah.
or
might
is
be
it
a 5.
+5?
He's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
yeah, 5 power and then +5.
Now, I just got a card. Speaking of crazy cards, the Infinaut. Have you seen the Infinaut?
No.
I just got him, and it says if you played a card last turn, you can't play this.
Oh.
Whoa.
So he's a 6 cost. So you're obviously only playing him in the last, which means
Uh-huh.
you're not playing a round 5 card.
Uh-huh.
But he's a 20 power.
Oh my gosh.
So imagine that on one of the zones that either says the highest card gets doubled, or whoever has the highest total here gets +100, those type of zones. This one just owns that zone, obviously.
Wow.
I
But I haven't
recently
got a
had a
chance to play him
zone
yet.
state that I get +6 energy that round or something, and I was like,
Right.
whoa,
Whoa.
that's wild.
I had one time that added in a 7th turn to the game.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen that a couple
That one's
times.
pretty cool.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a featured zone that happens more than other ones.
Oh.
So if
Okay.
you look on your home screen, it'll tell you what the featured zone is, and it just means that one's going to pop up a lot more often than the other ones. And
Oh, the hot location.
yeah,
Oh, right now it's Mojo World. That makes sense. I've seen it so
yep,
many times.
I've had that in almost every game
And
recently.
it's so funny when people are like, haha, whoever has more cards here gets +100 power, and they put all their cards there, and you win the other 2 rounds with like 6 power. It's like so
Right.
silly. Like, why are you only doing that? Like, I don't have any cards there, and you have 3. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to put 1 card there and win. And then they still put their last card there. It's so silly.
Yep.
But
But is there a good way to draw cards? Because like sometimes I feel like my hand
oh, yeah.
isn't.
Well, I have one. It's Mantis, and she's a 1 cost, and she's got if your opponent played a card here, um, draw a card from their deck. So that's kind of cool.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Except I always get dinky stuff, and whenever
Shuffle a rock in their deck and then draw.
whenever the opponent has to deal with my things, then they always get the best things. But that's whatever.
Well, there's one card that does that. One card is pull the highest card from your opponent's hand.
Yeah.
So that's a real kick in the butt when you see your Hulk fly into somebody else's hand. Like, darn it. Right now, I'm rocking a combination of Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur.
What do they do?
So Moon Girl doubles your deck. Like it duplicates. It duplicates your hand.
Oh.
So whatever, let's say you get 4 cards there, it duplicates those. So you'll have 2 of each of whatever those were. Now there is a max of I think 7 cards in your hand that you can show at a time.
Mm.
So it'll duplicate everything until it can't anymore. And then Devil Dinosaur he's I think a 5 cost, only 3 power, but he gets +2 for every card you have in your hand.
Whoa.
Nice.
So he gets above Hulk in my hand when I can play Moon Girl, and then keep like seven cards in your hand and play the dinosaur. Then you're getting another 14 points on top of his 3.
It's almost like they're a comic book together and meant to like play in the same deck, maybe.
Right. That's why I'm so intrigued about their theming. They've done a pretty good job, and they've pumped out just a ton of cards. A game like this, I would have thought at launch would have had a very small amount, and then it grow month after month they would add 10 more cards or something, but there's just a huge amount of cards.
Yeah.
Another combination I'm rocking is Carnage with Nova, Wolverine, and Angel. So
I don't know
Nova,
if I have any of those. I have Nova, but not the other ones.
Nova, if he gets killed, all of your cards get +1. Wolverine, if he gets killed, he pops up somewhere else in a different zone, so he just revives. And then Angel will come out of your deck and onto the playing field if someone gets killed.
Whoa.
And then, of course, Carnage kills everything. so I play Nova as a 1 cost. I play him on the first round. Wolverine's a 2 cost. I play him in the same zone. And then I follow that up with Carnage. And Carnage will kill those 2. He gets +2 for everything he kills. So now he's like a 6 or 7. Wolverine pops back up, so I get those 3 back. Nova's gone, but he added +1 to whoever's on the playing field. And then if Angel isn't in my hand, if it's still in the deck, then Angel pops out and I get another +2 somewhere.
Wow.
Wow.
That sounds epic.
It's good, but you have to draw the cards in the right order, or else it doesn't work,
Right.
obviously. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but the order that you play your cards matters.
Yeah.
Like the order that you play them.
Like if you're playing multiple cards a turn?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you've got one that says, on reveal, get +1 for every card out there, if you haven't flipped the card before it,
Right.
Oh.
then you don't get credit for that one. Or like the girl Ironheart that adds
Yeah.
+2 to 3 things. If you're playing someone with her, you better actually drag that up the field first and then drag her up, or else they're not going to get that. So that matters. And then your order. I've had the play order really matter also. And they say one of the tips was, they have the tips of the day on the home screen too. Whoever's name is glowing.
Yeah.
When you're selecting your cards to play, that's who's going to draw first or reveal first. And I've had situations where, like Spider Woman, she will subtract 1 power from everybody at that location, all your opponents at that location. So if you got if your opponent has 3 cards there and they play a 4th on that turn, if you reveal first, it'll only take the -3. It won't take the -4. So I now when I have an on reveal that's going to affect my opponent, I always look to see where the glowy name is before I didn't even care about that.
Right. I read that tip, but I didn't have any cards that it really mattered for me. So it's good to know that matters.
How about the Watcher? Have you guys got the Watcher, and do you use that guy?
I don't have that guy yet.
No.
So the Watcher, you can see the other 2 other 2 battle zones.
Oh, wow.
But he has to be in your hand, not in your deck.
Okay.
So if he's drawing, he's a 1 power. So if you draw him in your first 4 cards, then you can see all 3 fields
That is
up
cool.
front. And that makes a big difference on some of the ones that are like Mojo World. So you can start stacking people there if you want to.
Yeah.
Or it really helps for the zones that say you can't play any 1, 2, or 3 cost cards in this zone. So you can actually start playing 1 and 2s there, and they can stay there. And then once it reveals, then the other character can't. Your opponent can't play there.
Nice. The decks I have are pretty basic. The 2 that I built are called Ongoing and On Reveal.
There you go.
So the Ongoing one I have has, a lot of ongoing cards. I do have Khazar and a couple 1 costs because that's just a pretty good ongoing effect. But the 1 card that's pretty epic is Spectrum, who on reveal gives your ongoing cards +2 power. And that's all of them, which is pretty cool. And I also have Professor X, who locks down the location that he's in, which has won me a couple zones because if I just like put him there first or second or whatever, and the other person doesn't have any, effect, even if I only have his 3 power and they only have like 1 power or no power, like that's an easy win for that round, for that zone.
Right.
So that's nice. And then in my on reveal deck, my my big boomer is Odin, who on reveal activates the on reveal abilities of other cards in this location. Um, I don't like how it's only in that location because then I have to like think more about where I put things,
Right.
and make sure I have a spot open to put Odin. But he also has like base 8 power, which is really nice. But in that one, I have, like Gamora is pretty cool. She's like, the one costs where they like, if your opponent plays a card there, get whatever, but she's got base 7 power and gets 5 power if it hits, so that's pretty nice. Um, but that one's more of a work in progress because I just built it today. So
I've been destroyed many times by people playing an onslaught deck.
what is Onslaught?
Onslaught doubles the other ongoing effects at this location.
Whoa.
And I've had some where, like, I'd be up, let's say 15-7 or something like that, and then he plays that, and all of a sudden they get like 40 points or something. It's just
Wow.
crazy
Wow.
if it goes how they're planning. And then Apocalypse, I've had him destroy me before too. It says when you discard this from your hand, put it back with 4+4 power.
Wow.
So they play this guy with characters like, I don't know, Sword or Sword Master or something like that.
Sword Master, I think.
There's a couple cards that will destroy your own cards. And I don't know how this guy was so lucky, but he destroyed that Apocalypse twice in a row. So it came back. It starts off with plus 8, and then it came back as a 12, and then it came back as a 16. And I'm like, okay, I get it. That card's gonna win wherever it goes.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I've had the biggest issue with is my luck and my opponent's luck. There's one specific game I played a couple weeks ago where I lost on turn 3. They snapped, and I said, "Yep, okay, I'm a head out," and because I took a screenshot of it because it was so funny. So, the first zone, Subterranea. Shuffle 5 rocks into each deck. Okay, that's fine. Rocks are just blanks, don't have any power, but they are 1 cost. So if you're playing it with Khazar, I guess it's not the worst. And then the second one was Atlantis, which if you only have 1 card here, it has +5 power. That's not the problem. The game's going on. I'm fine. I draw a rock. I draw another rock. Okay, whatever. The last zone is Sakar. Put a card here from each player's hand. I put a rock up. My opponent puts Hulk up.
Yeah.
So they snap and I peace out. So that was cool. And now I go against people who copy a random card from my thing, and then they copy my Hulk or my Odin or whatever, and then they have like a duplicate the highest cost card in your thing, so they duplicate my Odin or my Hulk and get a second one. I'm like, why? become a copy of a random card in your opponent's hand. Okay, cool. Thank you for beating me with my own things. I'm a head out.
Have you seen the zone that says, like, after turn 4, whoever's winning this zone draws a 6 cost card into their hand, but it costs 0?
No.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Wow.
I accidentally forgot to put any cards in that zone.
But I did like unlock master sword master with the because he was a gift from the Lunar New Year, which is kind of cool. Um, but he's on reveal, discard a card from your hand, and it's like a trade off. He's three, he costs three, but he's got six power, so it's kind of cool. And he like discards one of your guys, but it always discards my Odin or my whatever,
Oh,
and
you
I'm
don't
like,
get to choose?
no. Discard a
Whoa.
card from your hand and just picks a random one. I'm like, you couldn't get my Mantis? Like, this is turn 4. Like, I don't need my Mantis anymore. Like, no. Out of all your one costs, I'm gonna discard your Odin or so.
And have you seen Strong Guy? This is one
No.
that I'll never use in a deck. It's he gets like he's like a 4 or something like that, and he gets +4 power if you have no cards in your hand. Like I don't think I've ever had no cards in my hand. You'd have to play them all out at the very end or something like that.
Wow.
So what would you guys approximate your winning percentage is right now?
Really high.
Yeah.
I think I've only lost maybe 2 games and played a lot more than that. So probably in the 90%.
I would say the same thing. And I remember when I first started, I thought, do you ever lose this game? Because when you first start, I think I don't know if you're playing bots and it's just easy or if it's just easy, but I didn't lose probably until my third play session or something. And now I'm saying I'm probably right around high 80s or 90% win percentage, which I'd like to think is because of skill, but I just don't know. It
Yeah,
seems a little high.
I
it
feel like
does.
the game is relatively new, and as it gets older, I feel like there will be more people who know how to play, and it'll become harder. I feel like it's still in its stages where people are like, "Oh, cool, Marvel characters," and have never played any sort of card game before, and it's I don't know, the zones really bait you. Like,
Like
like
Mojo World,
winning
like 100 power. Oh my god.
exactly. Oh,
It gets the opponent every time, and I'm like, okay, I'll just put all my cards in the other two zones. Like, I don't know what you want to do.
Right. Or what I usually do is I let them fill it up with 4. Or not Mojo, I'm sorry. There's one that whoever has the highest power gets their
oh
double
yeah,
power.
Uh,
Doesn't get a +100, but gets double power. And they'll fill it up with all their 1s and 2s and 3s, to have the most amount of cards there. But then I just throw in a big card
yeah.
and and
I
get the win
recently
on that one.
played one where my opponent was playing a bunch of Sentinel cards, and he put 3 Sentinel cards into his zone. It's like whoever has the highest power card, like here, gets +3 power, and if there's multiple cards tied, they all get the +3 power. So
Right.
he had 3 Sentinels in the zone. They were all 6 power, and then like on the last turn, I just put a Hulk down. So
Right.
now I have a 15 power, and you only have 9. So
There's one zone I don't remember what it's called, but it's apply this power to your other 2 zones. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah. I've seen that one.
That's another one that I let them fill up with 1s and 2s and 3s, then I just come in with my 5 and 6 and just
I feel like
win
Iron
all
Man
3
is
zones.
great in that zone.
Because I always love to find when they fill a zone,
Mm-hmm.
unless they've got something that affects the power, like Ironheart or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
or affects their on reveal, doubles their on reveal or something like that. Once they fill up that zone, then you're like, okay, I know exactly what card I need to play there at the end to win that zone.
Right.
Well, cool. Any other tips or things that you found out about the game that you want to share?
I do have like one more complaint. It's a very minor complaint, but there's like, as far as I've seen, there's no like friends list or like ability to play against your friends, which I
That'd be
think would be
cool.
pretty cool. Like, hey, like you want to help me test out this deck and blah blah blah. And I don't know why they don't have that because they're like connected to both Google and the Apple accounts, so you could easily just like use those platforms to have a friends list. I don't know why they don't have something like that. Maybe
Right.
it's just like early in their lifespan, so they didn't find it as a priority. But
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of other games that allow that kind of thing, so I feel like they should have at least considered it. I don't know, maybe.
Right.
Um,
Like even if there's like no rewards from it, because like I mean that's what a lot of online card games do is like you don't get rewards, but you could play against your friend if you want to. So
It would also be cool if they added in like a tournament aspect at some point,
yeah,
or
or like
maybe
a different like a story mode or something. Like they do kind of have something like that with the like the lunar beast thing you have to kill, but that's just like you kill it by winning against normal people. So
right
I don't know.
at
I
any
know,
given time somebody's adding to that,
yeah,
whether
like
you win or not.
a lot of mobile games that I've played, like AFK Arena and stuff like that, have like a different game mode that like resets every day where you like deck build as you're going. So I think something like that could be cool. Like you have to fight the bots, but you like they're weak and then you get stronger and then they get stronger and you have to keep going and I don't know, it's just like a different way to collect rewards. I think if they added something like that, that would be really cool.
Cool. I hope they're listening.
Me too. Marvel Snap developers, hit us up. Hit me up for ideas.
Cool. Any final thoughts, Sundar?
um, yeah, don't try to win your zone too hard. Just try and barely win it, and
That's right.
spread your resources out.
Yeah.
One one final question for your daily quests and the event quests and that kind of stuff. When they've got different things on there like win a zone with 4 cards or win a zone with 1 card, do you ever get to the point where you're playing to get those achievements regardless of if you win the game itself?
Not really. Um, I just played a game where it was like I knew I had a mission to play a 2 cost card, and so I kept that in mind, but it didn't really affect my play. I played Medusa in the middle zone, and I was like, I could have maybe played 2 1 costs now, but I don't know. It was still a good play. It wasn't like sacrificing too much, so I don't think it really affected me. But maybe, I don't know, if I'm trying to save time and I don't really care about my cubes.
When I think in the last event, not in this event, but in the last event, as it was getting towards the end and I had to finish all of them, there was games that it would say like win a zone with 4 cards. So you go in there, you're like, okay, I don't care if I win the other 2, I just have to win a zone with 2 cards, because you don't have to win the game, you just have to win
Right.
a zone. And then I get in there and I start playing, and then my competitive nature takes over, and I win the whole game, but none of my zones had 4 cards in it. I'm like, gee, now I need to go play again. So I play again, and the same thing happens again.
I thought you were going to say your opponent was doing the same thing.
No, both sides are tanking. No, it's like I play it again, and I'm thinking, okay, this time I've got to get 4 cards in zone no matter what, 'cause then I can go to bed after I finish this stupid quest. And then, oh, I'm good. I can win this one, and then I win it, and I'm like, damn, need to start again.
I'm the opposite. I kind of, if I see a quest that's like a one-time thing, because there are some that are like, draw 50 cards. Well, that's going to happen as you play. But if
Right.
there's one that's like, oh, win a game with so and so in your deck, or like play one cost guys, and I'm like, okay, I've got a deck that's got a lot of one cost guys. I'll play that. I will try to do it. I don't really care if I lose, but like most of the times I do because it's just like idiots that I'm playing against. But I don't know. I tend to be a challenge completionist because I like the rewards. So I don't know.
I know that when we play TFT, you always look at the quests and
I
try to
do.
build your comp around that.
I do that, yes. Because otherwise I don't have a direction. Need to have a game plan other than just win.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap this episode up. What do you think, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered all our bases. Our
Cool.
zones.
Covered all our zones.
We look forward to seeing what Marvel Snap evolves into.
if they
Seeing what
take
characters that they add.
Dazzler, 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 she's coming out.
Yeah, they're playing that one early. I think they could have held that one back several months, and
No.
people would have still been looking forward to it.
One person, me.
But thank you as always for listening to the podcast. And until next time,
Peace out,
Peace out
and geek
and
out.
geek out.
Out.
Thank you for listening to the Family Geekery podcast. For more information, visit www.familygeekery.com. Don't forget to subscribe at your favorite podcast provider. And until next time, peace out and geek out.
That was so bad.
He went for it.